Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider dropping likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So just going to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Alexis Sanchez. Obviously we do know the transfer saga about Alexis Sanchez, of course, does continue to persist, and that recent reports have indicated out saying that Inter Milan are the favourites to sign Alexis Sanchez on a long season loan with then the option to buy at the end of the season. So I do believe that Inter Milan have been in talks with Man United for several weeks over the possibility of taking Alexis Sanchez out on a long season loan. But it seems to be, Alexis Sanchez substantial wages. That seems to be the stumbling block of Sanchez. Potentially leaving Manchester United, and that, because we do know Sanchez is on 400 grand a week. Potentially rising up to 500 grand a week. Based on the image rights and the bonuses and that. And for the majority of the summer, we've been obviously trying to get rid of Alexis Sanchez and that. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that there is several clubs that are interested in signing Alexis Sanchez. I do believe that Solskjaer has held furthermore talks with Sanchez, regarding his future and that. But I do believe Sanchez is refusing to leave Manchester United and all that. Some people do believe from their overarching views that if we do let Alexis Sanchez go, that we will be a bit short up front and that, because obviously Sanchez has obviously got that experience. Obviously it confirmed the other week that Roma had been in talks with us over the prospect of taking Alexis Sanchez out on loan, but obviously Sanchez had turned down move to Roma. So obviously we do know Sanchez is on £500,000 a week with the bonuses and the bonuses and all that, so that equates to a year of around £18 million, and I think Inter Milan are only willing to pay around £4.5 million a year for Alexis Sanchez. I was reading their reports yesterday, and they actually did say that we may have to pay around £12 million this season to Sanchez, regardless if he completes his loan move to Inter Milan or not. But I think, as reports came out the other week, and this is, there was actually, prior to the Wolves game, Solskjaer did say that, Sanchez, still wants to be part of the squad this season. He also said that Solskjaer believes that Sanchez, will come good this season, and he did say he expects Sanchez, to play a lot more games this season, that, once he's fit, because we do know that Sanchez has been working to full fitness, because obviously, he has been below on his fitness as Sanchez. Obviously, we do know so far this season that Sanchez has not yet played for us. Obviously, wasn't part of the travelling squad in our 1-1 draw against Wolves, wasn't part of the squad against Chelsea, also wasn't part of the pre-season squad, because throughout pre-season Sanchez had been on Copa America duty. Obviously, he had sustained a hamstring injury and that, and he has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player as Sanchez and that. But Solskjaer is confident that we can still find a way to offload Sanchez. I don't think we'll be able to get rid of him permanently. I think the only way we can get rid of him is putting him out on a long season loan, and maybe we would be happy to pay the majority of his substantial wages to get him on a long season loan and that. But obviously the other week Solskjaer denied, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer denied speculation that Sanchez had been training with the reserve team, because there was reports emerging out saying that he could be sent to train with the reserve team in order to force him out the football club and that. But we do know that Sanchez has been a huge disappointment. We do know what he can be capable of and that, because he has got a pretty decent pedigree in that. He had 4 good years with Arsenal, did Sanchez, won quite a few cups. He also played under Pep Guardiola's guidance, when he was younger at Barcelona and that, and he did really, really well, but just hasn't replicated any of this at Manchester United. He has been a huge disappointment, since his arrival in January 2018. Obviously, he came to us, as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal, and since he's only made 45 appearances, Sanchez, and he's only managed 5 goals, and I think he has provided around 9 assists. So he has been a huge disappointment, and Sanchez is 30 years of age now. I think he's actually nearly 31, so you can quite frankly say that Sanchez really doesn't have a future at the club. But I think there's been like a number of Italian clubs that have been in for him. I was reading reports the other week, and they said that obviously Roma had been in for him. I think Napoli had showed an interest, also AC Milan, and that were in for him. I do believe early on this week, was it last week, that Alexis Sanchez's agent had come to the UK to obviously discuss Sanchez a loan move to Inter Milan and that. But Inter Milan reportedly are the favourites to get him on a long season loan with the option to buy at the end of the loan and that. So the rumours are still obviously going on about Alexis Sanchez, but once he's fully fit, I do believe he will get given the chance. The European window does shut on the 2nd of September and that. But I do believe now actually Sanchez could stay at the football club, and I also believe Paul Pogba and that could stay at the football club. Don't get me wrong, if we get rid of Sanchez, I think it would be, in that aspect, I think it would be great business from the club, because one, he's one of the problematic players. 2, he's not first choice, and 3, and 3, I think it will free up our wage bill and that, because I did say his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club and that. So yeah, so Inter Milan are still in for him. I do believe Inter Milan are still in talks with us. Don't forget they've already got Romelu Lukaku off us. Obviously, that got confirmed the other week, and I think that was good in that that was good business in that aspect as well, of us obviously getting rid of Lukaku. Obviously, it was good to see us generate substantial amount for his departure. So basically, we've recouped the money that we did pay for Lukaku a couple of years ago from Everton. So that was a very good business by the football club and that. But obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival anyway, we know that 4 players have departed the football club. Obviously, we do know Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Man United. He was a long-serving player with the football club. Obviously, we do know Ander Herrera left, obviously Marian Fellaini off, and there were 2 long-serving players at the club. And also, Romelu Lukaku, of course, left the club, and it confirmed the other week that Joe Pereira had gone on loan to Scotland with Hearts and that. Obviously, we got 3 players in. We recommended 3 players in. Obviously, we spent £148 million on Daniel James, and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, and we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, they were fruition, throughout pre-season. They're also going to be a fruition this season, because they've started the season really well of Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and that. Obviously, we do know Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back for this season, even though we have got quite a few fullbacks. Probably Ash Young's there for the backup. He's a backup fullback. We've got Luke Shaw, who's obviously our first choice left back. He's a fullback. We've got Dalot, obviously, he's a fullback, but and it can also play as a right winger, and it can also play as a left back. So he's very versatile. But I think Diego Dalot has got an injury, as it did confirm, and I think he will return to action after the international break, will Diego Dalot. So obviously we do know that he's out. But yeah, we have got quite a few fullbacks. We've got Darmian. Obviously Darmian is a service 2 requirements at Manchester United. I think we need to get rid of Matteo Darmian. Obviously he's one of the problematic players at the club. Obviously he's been at the club now over 4 years. Obviously with Darmian, to be quite fair, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected because obviously he hasn't really been given the chance. So I think we need to work on getting rid of more players, because he's still problematic players at the football club. But like I said, I think Daniel James has been fantastic. I think Wan-Bissaka has been fantastic, and I think Harry Maguire has been absolutely sensational as well. As I did say, when we got him, I said he's going to be a sensational player for Manchester United. He's obviously addressing our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well, and that was good business from Manchester United. Getting Harry Maguire in, maybe we did overpay for him. £80 million was a bit too much. I did maybe say 60-70 million pounds would have been reasonable in this market at this day and age for Harry Maguire, but obviously we ended up paying £80 million. But now in these markets at this day and age anyway, you've got to obviously you've got to overpay for players, and obviously we've got a history of spending big on players. The hell of a lot of money's been spent into the football club in the last 5 or 6 years. But obviously we can afford to to give players big contracts. We can afford to overpay for players, because we're a massive club. But of course we've got massive revenues, and obviously we are one of the richest clubs in the world. But obviously I think Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof are complementing each other fantastically well in our backline, and obviously that's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice. Obviously Solskjaer will rotate a little bit in like the cup games and that. Maybe Smalling Jones may get given a chance in that, but obviously Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof is his first choice in that. But obviously Harry Maguire is our best option than what we've currently got in our back line at this present time and that. Obviously with Victor Lindelof, there's question marks. Can he keep the consistency up? And I do believe Victor Lindelof can keep the consistency up. This is Victor Lindelof's 3rd season now as a Manchester United player. He lacked consistency in his first season. Didn't really settle in his first season, Victor Lindelof. But in his 2nd season, there were vast improvements in his game. I thought his passing was good, his distribution were really good, and I think he's flourishing at Manchester United, and I think he started this season really well as Lindelof. So I think Lindelof and Harry Maguire can definitely complement emulate into like Vidic and Ferdinand and that. And reflecting back last season, we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games. Of course, that was our highest total in 40 years. That was our highest total. We conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games and that. And I don't think we'll concede 54 goals this season. So I do believe we have definitely improved defensively, and I think now we've got around 7 central defenders. I think we need to orchestrate on getting rid of at least one central defender. And that, with Smalling and Jones, they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. Obviously, they've been 2 long-serving players at the football club. Smalling's been here 9 years. Obviously, Jones has been here 8 years. And that we have seen glimpses over the years of how good they can perform and that they can hold the line well. But I just think they're too inconsistent now. Of course, they're aging up and they're going to find game time now very, very difficult. And that. Obviously, with Marcus Rojo, I think we definitely need to get rid of him as well. Obviously, Rojo did play throughout pre-season, but obviously he wasn't part of the travelling squad when we drew the Wolves 1-1 on Monday. I don't think he was part of the squad against Chelsea and that. And obviously now Marcus Rojo isn't first choice in that. And obviously we put around the £25 million valuation on him. Obviously he just got under 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, and we know he can play centrally. He can also play on the left hand side. Marcus Rojo, but I think we definitely need to get rid of him. And I think with the arrival of Harry Maguire, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is happy to see Marcus Rojo leave the football club, but he can still go to a European club, don't forget. So if we could sell Rojo and Darmian, I think we could maybe generate around 30 or 35 million pounds for their departures and that. So I think we do need to get rid of them. Alex Tuanzebe, I think he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. He'll definitely get given his chances and that. I thought he was fantastic, throughout pre-season. Obviously, has gained experience anyway, because obviously, he gained that experience from last season. Obviously had a loan spell with Aston Villa, and of course Alex Tuanzebe, of course, was very impressive. So I think we are orchestrating on keeping him for now. In regards to Eric Bailly, I think if the right offer came in for Bailly, would consider selling Eric Bailly, even though we know deep down that he's a very, very imperative player. He's Bailly. Obviously, when he's fully fit, he's got great potential and he holds his line really, really well. But I think Eric Bailly's Manchester United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained, and I think it's really taken its toll on him. Obviously, this is Eric Bailly's he's heading into this is his 4th season, now, as a Manchester United player. Obviously, we paid £30 million in from Villarreal back in 2016. That's what we paid for him and that. And I think if the right offer came in, would consider offloading Eric Bailly. But we do know Eric Bailly is out until Christmas with a serious knee injury that is sustained, throughout pre-season. And obviously, so we have got a hell of a lot of central defenders in that, but I think we do need to orchestrate on, getting rid of at least one and that. And looking at that midfield, that I've got reservations about our midfield, without a shadow of a doubt. And it was a shame, throughout the course of the summer transfer window, that we didn't obviously, get a midfielder in. Obviously, I wanted someone, to play alongside Paul Pogba, and I would have been excited about the prospect of, putting Bruno Fernandes alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield, because I think they would have complemented each other, fantastically well in that. But obviously, we didn't get Bruno Fernandes. But I do believe, we'll definitely reignite our interest in Bruno Fernandes in January. I think the players we was in for throughout the course of summer who we didn't manage to get, I think we probably will revive our interest in them players in the January window. We'll also go in for some players perhaps next summer as well. But you can quite frankly say that the board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer and that. Even though the board did assure that, they would have, of course, backed him and that. But like I said, certain players would have had reservations about coming to Manchester United now, because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football and that. And actually, we failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the past 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. So obviously, that's a disappointment. Obviously, we do know that's a disappointment in that, but like I said, I've got strong reservations about our midfield. But yeah, anyway, so regardless of what happens this season, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be safe for this season anyway, because I think the board have, they've realised basically, that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. They've basically, realised this, and I think the board have granted that Solskjaer will be back in the next couple of transfer windows. And I think whilst the window was open, that Solskjaer had held talks with Ed Woodward about the lack of business in the transfer market. And like I said, overall, I don't like the way the football club has been run anyway in the last 6 or 7 years. But prior to this summer transfer window, we didn't make any signings in January. Obviously, we didn't get our number 1 targets last summer, so we just haven't been competitive enough in the last couple of windows. And I'm happy with the players that we did bring in this summer and that. And we spent quite a bit of money on them. 140, well, you could say 148 million pounds is reasonable for 3 players, really. But you know, obviously, you know, I did say it was going to be extremely difficult for us, you know, to address all the problematic areas, of course, in one window. And obviously, throughout the course of summer as well, you know, was in search for a right winner in that. But I can see the improvements in the squad. You know, there's still further more investment needed in that, but I can see the improvements because, like I said, we look much better defensively. We also look much better in the attacking third of the pitch now, because we've now got that pace up front, and that's obviously, you know, something we lacked last season. This is the main factor reason why last season wasn't scoring enough goals. This is why I wasn't ruthless enough, and obviously, you know, wasn't clinical enough. But now we seem to be more clinical in front of goal, which is good. But you've got Daniel James with electrifying pace. You know, don't get me wrong, I think Daniel James is still a prospect and needs time to develop. That's my opinion on him, and he's still 21 years of age. He's still got a lot of development in him anywhere. And he's taken a huge step in his career, Daniel James. You know, he transferred from Swansea to Manchester United, so he came from the Championship, you know, to the Premier League and that. But I think Daniel James has got all the ingredients required, you know, to become a huge success at Manchester United. You know, with Rashford and Martial, I think they're going to be both fantastic this season. They've already scored 2 goals between them, with Rashford and Martial this season. You know, Rashford obviously, you know, got 2 against Chelsea, I think it was. Obviously, you know, Martial got 1 against Chelsea, and of course got the goal against Wolves and that. So I think they're going to be a fruition this season, Martial and Rashford, and they are still both, you know, very, very young. You've got Rashford, who's 21, you've got Martial, of course, who's only 23 years of age and that. But we do know Martial will be playing central this season, because he seems to be more effective in that position, as he got proven, you know, throughout pre-season that. Martial, it got confirmed anywhere before the season kicked off that Martial, of course, has been given her that number 9 shirt. We do know he primarily plays off the left, Martial, but I think he seems to be more effective in that central position. But there again, you can put Rashford out wide, you can also, you know, put Rashford centrally in that. And, you know, I think they're going to do well this season. You know, I think they've started the season well. It was good throughout pre-season. It was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, that, but I think they're going to improve this season a lot are Martial and Rashford. And I do believe, you know, we're going to score more goals this season, because we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season. That was, you know, very, very poor. So we conceded more goals than what we initially scored in the Premier League. So I think we're going to score a lot more goals this season. You know, you've got Mason Greenwood as well. You know, like Solskjaer confirmed before the season started that he's going to be assured more playing time this season now, especially with, you know, Lukaku departing the football club. And Solskjaer, you know, explain why we didn't find that replacement for Lukaku, to obviously prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood. And Mason Greenwood, I think, is going to do well at Manchester United. Obviously, you know, he did well throughout pre-season, he did well for the reserves last season, and very, very good playing, of course, only 17 years of age. And you've got Chong. I do believe, you know, he will get given his chances this season. So I think Chong, Mason Greenwood and Angel Gomez, you know, they're going to be a big part of the squad this season. But I do believe, you know, the young upcoming players, you know, will definitely, you know, get given their chances in that. And I think the young players, the fringe players and the experienced players, you know, definitely, you know, they'll also, you know, get given their chances, you know, which is very, very good to see in that. But talking about, you know, that midfield, you know, I hope we can somewhere online, you know, convince, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, to remain with the football club and that, because we do know how imperative, you know, Paul Pogba is. And like I said, you know, if we can keep him, that's very, very good. But if we keep him, we've got to try and avoid him getting an injury, because we haven't really got a backup, you know, to Paul Pogba, you know, because taking Paul Pogba out of that midfield, you know, we're lacking that creativeness. The midfield, of course, looks totally imbalanced, because Paul Pogba, when he's at his best, and we have seen him at his best as a Manchester United player, you know, he can score goals, he can provide assists, he can feed the attackers very, very well. You know, his passing's really, really good, and that is Pogba's. And I think he's better when he's freed up, his Pogba. That's when you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba and that. And hopefully, you know, we can convince him to remain at the football club, because look at our other midfielders. You know, we've got McTominay, you've got Pereira, and of course you've got Fred and all that. And obviously we do know that I think, you know, there was quite a few players as well, you know, that didn't make the travel, you know, for the 1-1 draw against Wolves. I think Darmian didn't make the travel, Sanchez didn't make the travel, Fred didn't make the travel, Smalling didn't make the travel, and I think, you know, Marcus Rojo, of course, didn't make the travel. So there was quite a few players that didn't, you know, travel, go with the rest of the travelling squad for the game against Wolves. But, you know, my overarching view of McTominay, Pereira and Fred is that, you know, we have seen glimpses of how good they are, you know, because they did really, really well throughout pre-season and that. But I still don't know if they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United. I don't know if they've got all the attributes, you know, to succeed as Manchester United players. You know, don't get me wrong, McTominay's still got a lot of development in him. You know, McTominay, obviously, I think he will improve this season. McTominay, I think when he plays good, he can play between the lines well. His defensive contribution, that's very, very good, is McTominay's. You know, Pereira, I think, you know, he's really, really good. He's Andres Pereira as well when he wants to be. And with Fred, you know, he hasn't, you know, performed to the same sort of level, you know, as he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk and that, because I've got to be honest, he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. No, Fred did well towards the back end of last season. Also done well, you know, so far this season as Fred. Well, he did well throughout pre-season and that, but still don't know if he's a long-term solution for Manchester United. I think Fred's a better option than Nemanja Matic, because I think he's more mobile and better on the ball and that, because Matic is really, really inconsistent. And even though Matic was first choice last season, but I don't think, you know, he will be a first choice this season. That, because I think we do basically due to his inconsistency, because he's very, very slow. It makes that midfield, you know, look totally imbalanced, and he isn't getting any younger. He's aging up, of course, is the Nemanja Matic. So I have got a strong element of concerns about our midfield and that. Well, as I think you all currently gathered. So hopefully in January, you know, we can get at least one midfield. Perhaps maybe, you know, we can get a right winner in and that. But yeah, still quite a lot to address in the squad. And I think anywhere this season, our expectations is going to be that top four without a shadow of a doubt. Our expectations this season won't be to win the league, because analysing our squad at the moment, I don't think it's good enough, of course, to win the league. You know, obviously, you know, we haven't won the league, you know, since 2013. Obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season. That's obviously not over 6 years ago now. But yeah, I think our expectations this season will be to finish in that top four, you know, maybe win some silverware and that, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations. I'll be happy to get some silverware on the board this season, and I'll be happy with top four and that, and like I said, I initially said that our aspirations, you know, will be that top four in the next couple of seasons, but I think if we can get the right investment in the next couple of windows, I think we can win the league next season, to be quite honest with you. I think we definitely, you know, can do that, and obviously, you know, we've got big ambitions for the future. You know, obviously we want to get back to winning silverware, and this is something obviously, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now wants to bring back to the football club and that. This is something he wants to bring back to the football club. But it was good to see that he brought, you know, 3 good players in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer throughout the course of summer. Obviously, it's very essential with the growth and development of this Manchester United squad and that. But like I said, you know, with the dimension of this club, you know, with the history of this football club, obviously, you know, we should be, you know, challenging and, of course, winning silverware and that, because we are a massive club. We are the most successful team in England historically. You know, we've won 13 Premier League, you know, 20 all in all and that. And I think overall, you know, we've won about 42 trophies in that. And But yeah, so I think our expectations this season, of course, you know, we'll be able to finish in that current top four. But at least at the start of the summer, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, had the transfer strategy. You know, he wanted to, well, he worked out his transfer strategy, didn't he? You know, he wanted to recommend a number of young players to come to the football club that can grow, develop and emulate in superstars and that. And yeah, obviously we know throughout the course of summer that obviously Ed Woodward had been overseeing our transfer business, because, you know, early on in the summer, you know, we was in search for a sporting director, because obviously I did say we needed a structural change at the club and that. And I did say we needed to get a director of football in, you know, to obviously, you know, back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that, but obviously we didn't get a director of football in, and I was disappointed that we didn't, because I did say it would have been beneficial to recommend someone in who, of course, who's got that experience, someone, of course, who knows the traditions of the football club and that, but obviously, you know, we didn't get that director of football. And Solskjaer said at the start of the summer that he wanted to bring at least, you know, 5 new additions to the squad. You know, we got 3 players in, so I think, you know, in January, I think we need to get a couple of more players in there without a shadow of a doubt. And I do believe Solskjaer did get a substantial amount, you know, throughout the course of the summer, but just didn't get all the players, you know, that he currently wanted. And obviously it's Manchester United versus Crystal Palace today, as you all know. I gave my preview for that earlier on. Obviously it is at Old Trafford. It's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Obviously it's the 3rd game of the Premier League season. That obviously, you know, so far we've won one and we've drawn one and that, so obviously it's very imperative, you know, that we win this game against Palace. I'm confident we can win this game. You know, we've got a really, really good winning record against Crystal Palace. You know, we're unbeaten, I think, in like 20 Premier League games. I mean, 20 games unbeaten in 20 Premier League games against Crystal Palace, and I think the last time we actually lost to Palace was back in the League Cup back in 2011. So is that around 8 years ago, something like that now? Obviously, this fixture last season at Old Trafford was 0-0, but we did win at Crystal Palace by 3 goals to 1. But I'm very, very confident we can win this game. Solskjaer, in the Wolves game, only made one change from the 4-0 victory against Chelsea in that, so he only made one change in that. So he could go with a similar squad, as he did do against Wolves, or could go to a similar squad. Could go with a similar squad as he did go with against Chelsea in that. But he'll definitely rotate the squad. Will Solskjaer? He will not. Obviously, he won't. He won't, go with the same team, as he did do, of course, against Wolves and that. But I'm confident, we can win this game against Palace. Well, Matt could participate in this game because his goal scoring record against Palace is quite impressive. He's scored 4 goals and all that. Very, very confident we can win this game. Palace have had not a great start to the season. They've won. I think they've drawn one and they've lost one. They drew, I think, 0-0 with Everton on the opening day of the season. They also lost to Sheffield United on the second game of the Premier League season. So Palace, of course, are not doing really, really good. And Palace, I think, have got a couple of injuries. They've got James Tonkins out. I think they've also got Mahamadou Sakho out. So they have got quite a few of their centre backs out of Crystal Palace. And yeah, as you all know, we've got quite a few injuries as well. I think we've got around 3 or is it 4 injuries. We've got obviously Fosu-Mensah out. I think he's a long-term absence. Obviously, Eric Bailly's out. Obviously, Diego Dalot's out through injury. And I think also Lee Grant, of course, is still injured. I think Sanchez, of course, is still injured. So I doubt Sanchez, will be participating in this game today. As you all know, he's working on his full fitness and that. But yeah, very, very confident, we can win this game against Crystal Palace today and that. And very confident, we can win this game against Crystal Palace. And like I said, I think also this season we will, I should hope that we will improve our record against the top 6 sides, because our record against the top 6 sides, wasn't really good last season. But I think it will improve this season without a shadow of a doubt, because we do look a much better team and that. Obviously, with the situation regarding Paul Pogba, as you all know, due to his penalty miss against Wolves, obviously, Paul Pogba has been subjected to racial abuse online and that. And I think, Paul Pogba has, he's handled the situation quite well and that. And, now I think there's the vast majority of Man United fans that are demanding, Rashford to take the penalties in future. Obviously, our number 1 striker in that. But yeah, Paul Pogba did miss a penalty against Wolves, and I'm still very hopeful though that Paul Pogba can remain at the football club and that. And we do know for the entirety of the summer that obviously Paul Pogba's been heavily linked to a move to Real Madrid and that. And obviously Real Madrid, they've spent a substantial amount this summer. They spent £300 million on 5 players and that, or is it over £300 million? They generated some of the money back, because obviously we do know that Real Madrid have obviously sold their players. I think they've generated around £100 million. Obviously his first choice preference has been Real Madrid, and of course his likely destination has been Real Madrid. And if Paul Pogba does leave the football club, I think he will make the move to Real Madrid. We do know throughout the course of this summer that there's been talks about him making a return back to Turin, where he did have 4 good years in Turin. He hasn't really replicated this though at Manchester United and that. Obviously, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. Obviously he's our most expensive signing. Obviously he's not only our most expensive signing, he's one of the highest paid players at the football club on around just under £300,000 a week. He's also a World Cup winner, he's Pogba and that. And obviously, we're very adamant that Paul Pogba is not for sale. We have quoted out, we know what we would want for Paul Pogba if it comes to where we have to basically get rid of him. It said we want around 150 or 160 million. Some reports were saying that we wanted around 180 million pounds for Paul Pogba. That's just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus, back in 2016 and that. But obviously Real Madrid are unwilling to pay up to 180 million pounds for his services. Obviously you got Paul Pogba's brother coming out the other week, Memphis Pogba. He gave his overarching view on the speculation about Paul Pogba, and he said that Paul Pogba wants to quit Manchester United and that. And he confirmed a couple of months ago, Paul Pogba, that he was seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time, and obviously he wanted to leave to rejuvenate his career and that. And there was reports coming out saying that Solskjaer could consider giving Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club and that. But you know, Paul Pogba's agent for the entirety of the summer, Mini Raiola, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club. He did say at the beginning of pre-season, did Paul Pogba's agent, that Paul Pogba is in the process of leaving Manchester United and all that. This is what he said. And throughout the course of pre-season and quite recently, Solskjaer's been talking a lot about Paul Pogba. I think he's also spoken to Paul Pogba and all that, and he's spoken to the vast majority of our players, you know, throughout the course of the summer. But it was initially in our plans, you know, to build a side around Paul Pogba and that. And like I said, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left in his contract with Manchester United, you know, with an option to extend it by a further year and that. So he's Paul Pogba's future, you know, is still his future is still uncertain. Basically, there's uncertainty around his future and that. And but Paul Pogba, you know, came out the other week and still said that he's fully committed to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's project. And I think he also said that he could, you know, still leave Manchester United this summer. So, you know, the speculation about Paul Pogba does continue to persist, but he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Not only this summer he's been widely spoken about, also last year he was widely spoken about, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. You know, there was a lot of rumours going on about Paul Pogba leaving. There was talks about him going back to Juventus last year. I think going back in January there was talks about him, you know, going to Barcelona and that. But Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club. And you know, Paul Pogba's now in his 4th season as a Manchester United player, and I think he has started, you know, this season really, really well. You know, provided 2 assists against Chelsea. I think he, you know, did well throughout pre-season that. But there's still uncertainty, you know, regarding his future. And like I said, he's won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his 2nd season with Manchester United. And I thought Paul Pogba's stats were very impressive last season. You know, he scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions. But when Paul Pogba's at his best, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, he's like 2 players in one. But yeah, very, very imperative player indeed. And like I said with Rashford, I think he's going to be fantastic for us. Like I said, he's good at receiving them passes. You know, he's good at getting them runs in behind. I think with Martial, you know, his finishing's improved. I think his speed's also tremendous as well. And we have got a pretty decent squad, but I just think, you know, further more investment is needed and that. And like I said, you know, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. You know, as you all know, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. You know, there's only 3 players that are his. So Solskjaer's still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Obviously, we spent just under 400 million under the Jose Mourinho era. Like I said, it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. There was no sort of winning philosophy under Mourinho. You know, there was no transfer strategy under Mourinho and that. Even though he won the Europa League and League Cup in his 1st season with the club, it didn't work out under him. Like I've just said to you, they're the reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho and that. And obviously the board weren't backing the signings that, you know, wanted to recommend in last summer and that. You know, he's inheriting players even Louis van Gaal even though now players from Louis van Gaal are now currently left and that. You know, Solskjaer's still inheriting them players that are still here from the Van Gaal era. You know, there's still Matt here from the David Moyes era, don't forget. And obviously there's still players here from the Alex Ferguson era, of course, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is inheriting. So you can quite frankly say he's still in the process of rebuilding. Obviously, just under £1 billion has been spent in the last 6 years in all the managerial eras. If you want to take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson, which was £700 million in 26-27 years, it's way over £1 billion, of course, that we have spent in that. But yeah, a hell of a lot of money is being invested into the football club, and I'm hopeful that Solskjaer can, you know, it can work out with Solskjaer. Hopefully, he can get us back, you know, to being a competitive elite level football club, because we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers up. We've already sacked 3 managers, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. So hopefully, it can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because we love him a lot. You know, he was a great player for us for 11 years. He flew his germ under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. You know, he's got a bit of experience as a manager as well as Solskjaer. So hopefully, you know, he can do really, really well. It's a bit too early to say yet, you know, who's going to win the league and that. A bit too early to say, like I said. But I've already given you my predictions. I think City are going to win it this season. Liverpool will definitely be up there with a shout. Definitely, I think they can finish runners up again. Can Liverpool, like I said. They invested well in the last couple of windows in Liverpool. I think Arsenal should be up there, but I don't think they'll win the league. I think their expectations will be to finish in the top 4, but I think Arsenal should have a better season this season. You know, with Tottenham, looking at the business they did throughout the course of summer and on deadline day, they should be challenging for the league this season. You know, Tottenham have come close on quite a few occasions to win the league. I think the closest they came was the season, of course, when Leicester City won the league. Tottenham, came really, really close, and that, obviously Pochettino's expectations this season will be to win some silverware and that, because obviously he hasn't got that proven pedigree yet of winning any silverware, even though we know Pochettino's well Premier League proven, he's a great manager, he's good at developing players and that, and he's been at, I think this is his 6th season now as manager of Tottenham, is Pochettino's, and Tottenham did well last season, got to qualified for the Champions League, also got to their first Champions League final and that, but Tottenham, did really, really good business and that. But I think, my club, Man United, will definitely, finish in the top 4 this season. I predicted, that we'll finish third, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, so the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news in regards to Alexis Sanchez and that. But he's now reportedly Inter Milan are the favourites to sign him on a long-season loan, with them the option to buy and that. So definitely more news will update about that. More news will definitely update about that. So anyway guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.